Okay, test mic 1 2 3. Okay, test mic 1 2 3. Test mic. Okay, test mic 1 2 3. Test mic. Okay, test mic 1 2 3. Test mic. Okay, test mic. I think we have audio now. So today I'm gonna try adding some blues to the face and then to the background. I don't have cerulean blue right now, so might just have to use ultramarine blue mixed with white. Let's see if it's dry enough for work. Dry enough, good enough. Um, where's my blue? Let me get my blue. Tonay. It's my cat. Her name is Donnie. And she's always meowing. I lost her sibling. I think a stray cat attacked again and killed him. It's so devastating to me. You know, what can we do? There a solution to that? No. My liquid is dried now. Yesterday, not too dry, but pour out a new one, fresh one. So there's a misconception about Leonardo's process. Sometimes we think that he always used like these transparent glazes like all throughout, but really that's not how it works. Not exactly how he works. So he's just like painting like normal, like the most practical way possible. But he just painted in thin thin strokes, thin layers. Sometimes he adds white colors. Sometimes so the white, the light color, it's called as Italian word for that. He mixes it with white stuff. There's this guy who said that Leonardo didn't use white. I think they're wrong, plain wrong. Did did use white. This, by the way, is brush I'm using is actually synthetic brush for watercolors. Trying it out if it works. This for gouache. I like this more for gouache. I'm just trying it out, playing with it, if it helps or not. So it's my thinking like Leonardo is a practical man. I mean, he's a practical sense that there's no process to it, no rule, there's no specific steps. People tend to think he did things. It's just like when you paint with thin layers, depends on what you think needs some work. Being a practical guy, I don't think it's practical to subscribe to a rule that doesn't apply anymore. Of course, certain rules are emergent, emerge out from the process. Like, would always find things that are, much more effective. For example, these dark lips here, I could have like just lighten it up before painting it so that my red is a little bit lighter. The lips, the midtones of the lips would be more red than it being like this purple. I can fix it. I will fix it. I lightening it up with white right now. Oh, it's not very obvious on screen. Let me check the phone. Hmm. The blue isn't very obvious. See the reds. Okay, so let's do the white on the lips. These are the things that I need. You need to paint, check glazing. Gonna watch out with it. But again, it's okay. No rule. You might think this is weird though. I'm not sure if I have to share it. I can share it because personal and it's kind of, I don't know, weird. Could say it's a little bit supernatural. But supernatural is just a word, I guess, that people use to limit our understanding of our reality. Because in reality, supernatural is just part of a mechanism of the universe that we don't understand yet, but we have access to it. A lot of people are so materialistic that unlimited that they think whatever is real right now, all that there is, all the reality is. But if you look at in the past, you think about it, what we have right now, what we understand right now, something that would seem like magic to seem like possible, or lights stuff. To us, these are very mundane things, right? So normal, so mundane to us that we don't really think it's natural. Nothing. See, my point being is that about dreams and visions, people usually think that dreams and visions are just like law in our mind. It's used out of us. It could be, but it's theory of mind is these are inputs from what I'm talking about really is this dream of mine, and it involves Da Vinci. I dreamed about him. So kind of hard for me to talk about it. It was life changing to me. But it's also hard for people to believe it unless they experience it themselves. I think that's my point. And it was not like I didn't believe it immediately because I really didn't do a lot of research about Leonardo before that dream. I didn't know all about him. But so I admired the Mona Lisa. I was a kid. I never really knew him, to care about him, what he thinks, how he thinks. And there were like affirmations, like after that dream, after the things I kind of felt, you know, brewing inside me, this information, and it made me like speculate, like, oh, so maybe it's so. I then like found YouTube, like YouTube recommendations about documentaries about him that kind of confirmed the things that I thought about him out from that dream. So it's kind of like I am, if I'm like an AI, them for example, there was an input came to me through the dream, right? And then this input started something in me, like started making me like speculate things about, oh, maybe it's like this, maybe. And then certain parts of documentaries, they're not really obviously spoken about in the documentaries or discussed. They're just like passing hints, right? That kind of corroborates that those information that I've felt inside. So it's like meeting someone on the street, right? You meet him, but you didn't really like talk a lot, but it was so impactful to you, and you already have a connection. Like you already have data about this guy, though it's not really like thorough, like complete data about this person, for example. And you start like thinking, be his. But okay, so I'll just say it. It's gonna be weird if talk about it in my documentary. Going to be when I get it out in reference to this. Like, I was in my dream. I found him in this pier. Here, it's not here in the Philippines. Somewhere else, like Italian pier. That, and it was about like 4 p.m. or it was also almost about sundown. Like there's a light, the golden light, but it's not too dark. It's not too bright either. Like a golden hour. And the funny thing is like he painted during those times, right? It was before nighttime. It's not too dark, it's not too light. So I saw him disappear. He was not old. He was young, like around 30s or 40s. He didn't have like this beard. He had a hat. I can't remember what hat exactly. He had a hat. And he was waiting there on the pier. Waiting. Standing on the pier. Looking out. Like his back was turned away from me and I was walking towards him, right? Found him and in my dream I kinda knew that that was Leonardo. I came up to him and he turned to me, right? So I asked him like casually, how do you do your paintings? How do you paint? Like, how did you make the Mona Lisa? Then he turned towards me, and that's when the impact was really like, what scared me and shook me. It was the he just spoke simply, but the impact of what he said in my psyche is so strong. Kind of shook me, kind of woke me up from that dream. And what he said was like, forget everything you know. He said it like it was like he was responding to my question. He was like saying, forget, you know, So since then, I didn't understand really what he meant. And right now, until right now, still don't get exactly what he getting. Is it? Does it mean like easy? Does it mean just there's no rules? There's no how? Does it mean like process that you think I do? If the Mona Lisa is not that, there's no such thing as no such thing as how I did it. Is that what it means? Does it mean like my knowledge of how to paint really going to prevent me understanding his process? What does it mean really? But when he said that, he just turned towards me, and his character was he was not like imposing. He was not scary guy. He was not like this strict guy that people talk about, like this crazy, mad, crazy, strict boss. He wasn't someone like that, and he wasn't. He doesn't. He didn't seem gay as well. He wasn't like he was manly, but he was like he was not gay. Spoke like a normal guy. He wasn't soft. He wasn't overcompensating. He was, but he had this authority about him. He had an authority to him. It's like when you're talking to someone that I was just casually walking up to him, like I was just like asking, like I would ask someone on a stall, right? I was not like uh I wasn't like a fan, when you meet your like your idol. Wasn't I wasn't like that. I was just like approaching him like you would approach like your classmate, like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" Like, how did you do it? I was just like that. And he turns, and his character was like this. He was very firm. He was very grounded. He was not. He was very sure of himself. He was not. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have an angry aura, or he was calm, not confused, but and he has authority. You can feel that, like talking to someone who has authority, like, not strict, not angry, not something gonna be scared. Like, oh, when he speaks to you, his energy is like not. You're gonna feel like, oh, this guy is like, this guy is serious, but not serious in an angry way or in a defensive way, not like that. Like a teacher, and he really has this, like he cares, right? He has this energy that he cares, but he's not soft. It's not female energy. He has this male energy to, but he's calm like that. Okay, so when he said that, I was like woken up from my dream, thrown back. That's all I remember about that dream. And since then, I was kind of, I took this journey of like rediscovering how to do things without rules. But I struggled at first because, if you're anything like me, you're used to watching like videos, right? Being told, okay, this is how you should do it. You start like this, brushstroke should be this. We're being taught like, and I don't think it's like that because you read his treatise, doesn't really write much about the process. Doesn't even tell you like how to do it. This is how I do it because I think the reason for that is because I think he believes that there's no absolute like rule how you should paint. He just tells you like the big strokes, like okay, paint your sfumato in while the paint is wet. Do the sfumato while the paint is wet. These colors, or you can use paint, but do it in your style. Sfumato in your. The fact that he's acknowledging that people has their own styles kind of tells you a lot about it. That it's not this guy who like forces to do things a certain way. Documentarian documentary is there's a documentary depicts Leonardo like this weird guy, eccentric guy that gets angry because the canvas is not primed properly. He just throws it out the window of the balcony. Crazy. I don't think he's like that. I think he's a perfectionist, but I don't think he's more of a guy who wants to understand and to be perfect. He wants to know, so he experimented a lot. Because if you're a perfectionist, kind of don't experiment, right? You kind of have this, so you know what you're doing, and this is the final highest form of your craft. That's what perfectionists. But if you're like an explorer, you're like a guy who's not satisfied. Like there must be something better out, be a better way of doing. You're not gonna be a perfect. Either they misunderstand him by saying he's a perfectionist because he's not satisfied. I think he's just wants no more. So it's not like, okay, this is the best way to do it. Follow these rules. Okay, I'm gonna make you some rules. Follow because this is the ultimate painting process. This is the only. I don't think he's like. On the contrary, I think he's like, sure, dude, like what you can do, what you think is right. Then he's gonna observe it. I think this part here. How, what did you do here? What did you do? Part of not working, right? Like, can you like make this lighter here? This bit lighter. I think it's more like that. I think his authoritative energy there that I felt in the dream was because of his time. During his time, you can't be soft. You can't be like a guy in that age. You can't be soft like a modern day person, modern day like guy, like office guy. You can't be like. It was a rough time. Wars are happening at that. People are killing each other. No reason. It was a time of like you can't lay your guard down. Like you have to be ready to fight for yourself. And you can't establish like a studio, your own studio if you're weak. Like this guy who got people just around. But he wasn't angry. He was like, but that's the thing, right? He was not a modern guy. If it was just a production of myself, he would have been like a modern guy. Right? He wasn't my dream. Like really was like transported back into that era. And I forgot, but I remember when I was young, I said to myself, when I grow up, I'm gonna paint that. Looking at the Mona Lisa, saying to myself, I'm gonna paint. Gonna have to be careful this next time. I don't have much time on this painting because my dad picking this up maybe like tomorrow or next. So I'm not gonna be able to finish this. I'm gonna move on to the Lucan portrait. Gonna take with me, learn from this, continue it. Right now, the Lucan, I'm still like applying the white. No, yeah, I guess the point being, I shared that is because I think that's my proof. Say that Leonardo's process wasn't strict, didn't follow. Besides, you can't really do that, right? Have one process. Gonna have like adjustments in there. Not gonna be perfect on the first go. Things like. And there's this misinformation. People who do realism and this hyper realism or something like this, like detailed work. These guys are perfectionists. I don't think that's. Like you can be a perfectionist even if you're painting in other styles. And what I like about Leonardo's style is not not really hyper realism. Not doing style is like an illustration. He renders it in a way that applies blurring, soft transitions, but it's not really not like a photo, like an illustration. So when you're painting and it looks your painting looks cartoony, look back what Leonardo did, and don't get distracted with the soft gradations. Look at the composition, how he painted the objects. Not it's not really a hyper real, more like a illustration. You look at it. Look at the Mona Lisa, and you see that it's not realistic. Not not a photo. Other paintings too, not photographic, photorealistic. The gradations are soft, but they're cartoony illustrations. So don't worry too much about it. Work is cartoony. Maybe that's how your brain. There's always, always. If you really want to break out of that, then you can always do that. If you want, you can learn what's missing. Color. It's not in the shading. Not in the photorealism. Is not in the shading. Not in how smooth something is. Like you can add a filter to a photo, it would still look like. Is it the colors? Maybe. I think it's more in the colors. Colors, how colors react to it. I think it's more on that. I think that's what the impressionists are trying to learn. I think they're trying to capture realism from color, not from form. Because a realism, photorealism, like different dimensions to it, right? Rendering, soft edges, hard edge. Where to place that? Apply a hard, soft edge. And then there's color. Or the natural colors that you find in impressionist paintings are close to reality. You look at it. When you look at our photos, they're not really strong colors. Not like this. Like when you put on makeup, like a vermilion, just put vermilion powder on your face, and it's gonna like gonna look like you painted your face. But when you look at a blushing girl that's blushing, you think that it's vermilion. Right? It's because of the colors that are in your perspective and what you're looking at. Like the the strength of the color is like it's like having like take a cartoon image and then just drop the saturation slowly, and you can see that the relative colors in there factors into like how you perceive a certain color. Right? A blue would look super blue if all the other colors beside it, like for example here in the light, right? If I placed it like a blue here, super blue, it's gonna look like it has like too much blue, simply because all the other colors are muted. So that's why when you look at expressionist colors, they look like they look like do you call that chalky, right? A lot of whites and grays. They're trying to make it as naturalistic as possible. So there you go. We have color, form, shape, lines. I don't think I dropped like I think I can use this for oil. Just dropped like 2 hairs there. I was hoping I could use it for oil. Ah, so not for oils then. They're really good for oils, but don't get all of this crap here coming from the oil here. So it's the shapes, right? Naturalistic shape on, but doesn't have to be. Like you can, of course, if you draw like super edgy edges, but it's still gonna look. You can make it look like really photographic, right? Like real because of the light. I think it's more of the light than colors are rendered. And when you look at like games, hyper realistic games, you can tell, right? You can tell the color. There's something about it, something about realism hyper realistic color, real color. Like kind of looks dirty, unsure. It not red all the way. When you're looking at a red object, it's not really red. It's like vibrating in color, red and blues coming at your face. Like you're seeing two different colors from a single spot flickering. I think I pulled that. I peeled that off right there. Right there, world. They say it's like these in the eyes, and you're seeing like your vision is flickering. They say that it's like a eye problem, but it's really not. So when you want to paint like hyper realism, don't wanna paint pure red here. You're gonna have to add like patches of different colors. Gonna make your painting look, and it's not texture, okay? Not texture. Like in 3D, I was doing 3D back then, creating texture. Like when you create skin texture, you gonna have to add like default texture that's without the light. You have to add like blues, reds, like spots of them. And that's different. That's another process is the lighting. As soon as you add the light, it's gonna change. Texture is gonna adapt to be rendered. Gonna look different in different lighting situations. So light also like applies like factors into realism. I think that's what Leonardo was trying to grasp to, like bloom, light bloom, capture light bloom. Or not just blurring edges, trying to capture bloom, how light blooms. Okay, so my back is hurting right now, and I need to have like some food. I haven't had breakfast yet, so I want to do some breakfast. I don't know if you can really. I don't know if the camera is picking it up correctly. Let me check. Because our phones are like, phones can pick up, can display colors differently. Just read a comment on this thread that I'm following about a game. Crazy that people think that the number of hours they play a game gives them like a higher perspective on something, like a better grasp on something. I don't think that's like a guy could be like doing something so long. There was this story about a guy who was setting his clock, like this store, his watch to this store. Keep setting his clock to the store, thinking that was the correct time. It wasn't. Can't remember the story. There's like a doesn't have to be like 1,000 hours. Like there's enough hours you do something that you can actually grasp everything about it. Okay, let me check. Stream on my phone. How does it look in real life comparatively? That's how it looks. Fade, faded. Hmm, strange. So I kind of want to keep this cool here. So maybe by increasing, by bumping up the reds here, I advertedly like made this area look more cooler. It up. Okay. I can play with this longer, but it's no problem if you can't continue this because I still have another one, previous one, right? The Ayu painting, you can do that, and there's also this guy. You can also paint him. I already did the underpainting. You can color this. Next time, alongside the uh, alongside the Lucan portrait, the Lucan requires like 3 days to dry. Even if I'm using liquid, I need to make sure that it's dried completely. Just like here, I found out that I've been pulling paint here. I didn't notice it. I just noticed a week ago. Crazy. I don't want that to happen. I need the liquid to dry completely. So even if they say it dries overnight, you can still pull it out. Temo brush. This is a Temo brush. Synthetic Black Swan paintbrush. Kinda works. I'm not a fan. I think this is better. For gouache, maybe. Better for gouache. Watercolor. I'm gonna try this next. Also a Temo brush. This is a mixed hairbrush. Gonna try this later. So okay, that's it for me. and I'll see you next time.